In the modern era of basketball commentary, we've developed a dangerous obsession with the box score. A simple sheet listing points, rebounds, and assists has somehow become the ultimate authority on how we judge a player's performance. Too often, fans glance at a stat line, 8 points, maybe 2 assists, and instantly label the night a disappointment. They start shouting about agendas, invent theories about teammates refusing to pass, and completely miss the far more complex story unfolding on the court. Today, we're not going to approach the game that way. We're not going to be box score spectators. We're going to study the game itself. We're going to examine the United States national team's overwhelming dismantling of Puerto Rico, a matchup that finished with a lopsided final score of 91-48. But instead of focusing on surface-level statistics, we're going to look deeper. We're going to explore the invisible geometry of the court and break down the subtle forces that shaped the outcome. At the center of that analysis is Caitlin Clark. Her influence in this game cannot be fully captured by numbers alone. Her presence functioned like a tactical sledgehammer, creating opportunities that allowed her teammates to systematically tear apart the opposing defense. If you truly want to understand the psychological gravity Clark carries onto the floor, the place to start isn't the stat sheet. The real evidence appears in the defensive formations across from her, and in the tension you can feel in the arena before the opening tip even happens.
Look, everybody take your phones out!
No puedo. Saca tú, no puedo. Economía me deja.
The phones was out! Everybody was...
Listen to that reaction. Look at the glow of thousands of phone screens in the stands the moment she simply walks onto the arena floor. The anticipation in the building is unmistakable. This isn't typical for an exhibition matchup. This is the atmosphere that surrounds a generational talent. When an opposing coaching staff prepares for a player who generates that level of attention, their defensive strategy immediately changes. They stop playing standard basketball and start trying to survive. And that's exactly what Puerto Rico attempted to do. Their coaches studied the film and made a desperate but understandable decision. They were not going to allow Caitlin Clark to explode for a 30-point shooting barrage. So they installed a heavy 2-3 zone, constantly shifting extra defenders toward her side of the floor. The moment Clark crossed half court, the defense reacted as if a major threat had entered their territory. But here's the harsh truth about facing Team USA. When you dedicate that much attention to stopping one elite player, you inevitably open the door for the rest of the roster. That's where Paige Bueckers stepped in. When defenses trap Clark or extend their coverage far beyond the three-point line to shut down those deep logo attempts, the middle of the floor becomes wide open. Bueckers recognized that immediately and attacked it with calm precision. Look at the numbers from the game. Bueckers played 21 minutes and led the team with 16 points, shooting 7 for 12 from the field, an impressive 58%. That efficiency didn't happen by accident. It was the natural result of the spacing created by Clark's presence. Whenever Clark positioned herself on the wing, Puerto Rico's zones stretched thinner and thinner until the seams began to tear apart. Bueckers took advantage of those openings, slipping into the mid-range and driving toward the basket while defenders were still focused on Clark. She finished the night with a team best plus 25 rating. That's exactly what it looks like when a player takes what the defense gives them. And what the defense gave Bueckers was an open lane, created by their constant fear of Clark. The impact extended beyond the perimeter as well. In the paint, the defensive adjustments from Puerto Rico created another opportunity. When a zone defense stretches all the way toward the logo, the interior defenders are pulled away from the rim. That compromises rebounding position. And that's where Angel Reese took over. While online debates tried to manufacture drama between the young stars, Reese and Clark quietly demonstrated how complementary their games can be. Reese finished with 10 points and a remarkable 13 rebounds in only 16 minutes. Even more significant, 5 of those rebounds came on the offensive glass. That means 5 extra possessions, 5 second chances after defense believed it had forced a stop. With defenders constantly glancing toward Clark on the perimeter, they repeatedly failed to establish position against Reese. She controlled the interior battle and turned the paint into her territory. This is how effective basketball works. One player draws the defensive pressure, and the others capitalize on the space it creates. Of course, critics will still point to Clark's stat line, 8 points on 2 of 6 shooting with 2 assists, and argue that she had a quiet night. Some will even claim she was left out of the offense. But that interpretation misses the strategy completely. Clark didn't need to take 20 shots because the defense had already committed itself to stopping her at all costs. They were daring Team USA to beat them with anyone else, and the roster accepted that invitation without hesitation. And whenever the defense relaxed its focus for even a moment, Clark reminded them exactly why they were so cautious in the first place. This is international basketball. Clark from deep 3 points. Boom.
All day. Now, this is World Cup basketball. Caitlin Clark, logo 3. Boom. Caitlin Clark on the ground. I mean, they showing all the...
This is exactly what happens when a zone defense loses focus for even a split second. Caitlin Clark receives the ball just a step inside the logo. The defender arrives late on the closeout, worn down from chasing her through screens all night. Clark wastes no time. The release is lightning quick. Boom, 3 points. That's the gravity she brings to the floor. Moments like this are unavoidable. No defense can maintain flawless pressure for a full 40 minutes against a shooter with that kind of range and confidence. Sooner or later, the wall cracks. And Clark made it clear she's far more than a standstill threat. Once the transition opportunities started to appear, she flipped into attack mode, driving downhill with the kind of aggression that makes her incredibly difficult to contain in the open court.
Coast to coast for the and one opportunity.
I mean, they're showing the Angel love. And what's crazy is that fans cheered.
Watch this sequence closely. Caitlin Clark secures the ball, scans the floor, and instantly hits the accelerator. Coast to coast. She doesn't settle for a pull-up jumper. Instead, she attacks the lane, absorbs the contact, finishes through it, and earns the and one opportunity. That's the dual threat she brings to the game. Clark can punish defenses from 30 feet away, but the moment you press too aggressively on the perimeter, she's capable of blowing past you and finishing at the rim. But the clearest measure of her impact, the statistic that completely dismantles the bad game narrative, is her plus-minus. During the 18 minutes Clark was on the floor, Team USA outscored Puerto Rico by 18 points. Plus 18. In basketball terms, that number tells a powerful story. Even though she attempted only 6 shots and recorded just 2 official assists, the team functioned like an unstoppable machine whenever she was between the lines. Her off-ball movement, the quick ball reversals that sparked hockey assists, and the defensive gravity she created dictated the rhythm of the entire 91-48 route. Basketball has never been a solo performance. It's an interconnected system. That's why players like Chelsea Gray can start the game and score just 1 point, or why Ryan Howard might struggle with her shot, yet the team still wins by more than 40. The offensive responsibility is distributed, and the spacing allows everyone to operate. In this matchup, Clark essentially became the ultimate decoy. She absorbed the defensive attention of an entire opponent so her teammates could play freely. Labeling that kind of performance as disappointing, or worse, intentional sabotage, misses the entire strategic picture. This is what high-level basketball intelligence looks like. It's about recognizing defensive schemes and exploiting the openings they create. If a defense decides to place 2 players on you near half court, forcing a bad shot isn't the answer. The correct move is to move the ball, trust your teammates, and let them attack the numbers advantage. Team USA delivered a masterclass in offensive execution. They showed that they are more than just a collection of star players. They are a unit capable of reading the game and adjusting to whatever strategy the opponent tries to throw at them. And at the center of that adjustment, drawing defenders, stretching the floor, and opening the path to a historic blowout, was Caitlin Clark. If this is the level of impact she can have without even delivering a massive scoring performance, the rest of the international field has plenty of reason to pay attention. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the real X's and O's of Team USA basketball. This channel isn't about clickbait, it's about understanding the game. If you enjoy breakdowns that go beyond the box score, Be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and drop a comment below telling me which player you think benefited the most from the spacing created in this matchup. I'll see you in the next analysis.